Hello, everybody. Oh my God, you have no idea how I was struggling with this. I'm so sorry I'm late. I was trying to connect, but it was impossible. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But I am so happy to be here. And I am happy that you are here. I can hear the sounds from people coming into my webpage. I just want to make sure that you are all here, since I was late and everything. Come on, YouTube. Okay, listen, so this is how it's going to work. You are probably at a window on my webpage, okay, but this is also being streamed on YouTube. As something that it's private, okay? Only you have access to it, okay? The ones that signed up for the masterclass. But I am telling you this in case you want to ask something during my transmission, okay? In case you want to, say something, ask some questions, something that you are like, okay, I don't quite understand, or tell me more, something about it. Just click, if you are on my webpage, just click on watch on YouTube, then you can have access to YouTube, the YouTube chat, and you can tell me anything you want. Okay, I am going to start. Give me just a second because probably people were trying to log in, but they couldn't. You see, I have a message right now. Let me say, I have had some difficulties. There now. Okay. All right, that's awesome. Hopefully I could get to everybody, and now everybody can have access to the masterclass. This is so freaking exciting. I was really looking forward to have this masterclass and to really, my mission is to help people heal, right? So let me disconnect a little bit over here so I can focus on you. Oh my God, maybe I don't want to disconnect because I'm receiving some nice messages in regard to masterclass. Thank you. Thank you very much. Somebody just told me I look gorgeous. Okay, so let me just start by the beginning and letting you know what is going to happen right here on this masterclass, okay? So first of all, I want to introduce myself because I want you to know who am I, why am I doing this? Like not everybody, not every one of you know who I am and why I'm here. What do I do? What is going on, right? So I'm going to start by doing this introduction. Then I want to walk you through kind of a relaxation exercise so we can really get into the flow of receiving, because we're talking about healing, right? And I always like to do some relaxing exercises, kind of like, it's going to be very simple, very short, just to get us going. And then we're going to get into the juicy stuff. Okay, the juicy stuff. Obviously, I'm going to share with you the 5 steps that I think that they're very crucial, very helpful for you if you are starting your healing journey, or even if you already started, but you kind of feel stuck and you want more information. Okay, so this is how this thing is going to go. If you see me looking down, is because I have my notes here. I really don't want you to miss anything, and I really want to focus, and also I really want to be mindful of your time. We're going to be here for an hour, so I really want to be mindful and actually, just respect your time. Okay, I hope you are ready. If you received my email, you already know that this is going to take an hour, and you should have kind of like a notebook, because it's always nice to take notes. You're gonna hear something and then it resonates with you. Like, I want you to write down things, and I'm going to be sharing some prompt questions for you to journal, some nice things. So it would be very useful if you have a notebook to take notes of it. To be honest, I'm really not sure what I'm going to do with this masterclass, if there's going to be a replay or if I'm going to share it in a different way. Like, I really have no idea. I want to see how it goes, okay? Because I like this commitment. I like to have here the people who are really into it. So we'll see in the future. So if you are here, thank you, thank you, thank you. welcome. Just really, please take the most out of this session. It's going to be very powerful, I hope. So take the most out of it. Open heart, open ears. All right. You're probably going to listen to some things that you already listened to, but listen to them again, because sometimes I see, I read a book and I watch something and I'm like, oh, I already know this. I already do this. But there's always something new to learn or to relearn or to think about again. So I did not introduce myself. You see, that's why I have notes. You see, presentation, I'm focusing. So my name is Erika. I am a young woman who was born in Angola, which is a country in Africa, for the ones who don't know where that is. From Angola. And when I was very little, I moved with my mom and my little brother and my stepfather. We moved to Portugal. So I spent my childhood years and also my, early adult years and adolescence in Portugal. I spent some time in Hungary as well. Don't ask me why. I wanted to go and do something different. I was there for, a short period of time working with disabled kids. It was a very interesting experience, but that's for another time. And in my mid-20s, something like that, I decided that I wanted to come to the Canary Islands, which is where I live now. So I live in Tenerife. But I used to live in a different island. I don't know. I just moved a lot. Okay. So I am a certified life coach. I am also a yoga teacher and I am a blogger. Like, I love to write. My passion topic is healing. I love talking about healing. I love talking about how to heal, how we can help people heal. So it is what I do. It is my work. Yeah. And I am a healing coach for women. I love to help women heal. The reason why I do this is because I needed a lot of healing in my life. And I discovered the way, there are different ways, but I discovered my way. And it worked. I just, for you, this is some context. When I was a child, I was a victim of sexual abuse, and it was like continued in time. And besides that, I suffered from domestic violence. I grew up without my father around. I mean, the list of traumas, you tell me the list and I'll be like, check for almost everything. So I did start a healing journey here in Tenerife 5 to 6 years ago. And it was a beautiful journey. And it was like, okay, so I need to tell people about this. I need to let people know that it is possible to heal. And so that's what got me into let me be a coach, I went to university to study psychology, but something was kind of missing, I was way young, way younger than I am now. But I was at the university, I was like, but I want action, And it's funny because now that I am a coach, I kind of discovered the action that I was looking in psychology, right? Because I was like, okay, but now what? Where are the solutions? I don't want to just listen to people talk all day. I want action. So yeah, hopefully you got to know me a little bit. Yeah, that's who I am. Healing coach, love helping women. I am a survivor. I was a victim. I am now a survivor. Don't consider myself a victim anymore. I have done a lot of study in theoretical and also practical terms, if you know what I mean. So I like to practice what I preach. So I like to share things that I tried, on myself or on my clients, but always with this in mind. Like, if I didn't try it, I'll be like, Okay, I know this technique and I want you to try it. Let's see. Okay, so but today I'm going to share with you some techniques and tools and mindsets that helped me along the way on my healing journey. Okay, but as I told you before we start, let me take a sip of water over here because 10 minutes in and I'm already thirsty. I feel like I'm shouting. Am I shouting? Can somebody tell me if I'm shouting? Okay. So before we start, I really want to do this little meditation with you. It's a very short meditation. It's nothing special, to be honest. I'm going to go with the flow, okay? I'm going to just feel the energy in the air and guide us so we can prepare to receive this information, okay? So right now, seriously, you don't need anything fancy, okay? Nothing fancy. If you are sitting down on a chair, that's awesome. That's all you need, okay? The moment is perfect. You don't need to create anything else. What I'm doing now is just take my shoes off and put my feet on the floor to feel grounded, okay? Let's have our back straight as well, feet on the floor if possible. And wherever you are right now, just know that it's totally okay. All right. You don't need to do, or have anything in particular. This moment is perfect as it is. And your hands can just sit down comfortably on your lap. And I would ask you, whenever you feel ready, if you feel like I'm definitely going to do it, close your eyes. And allow your body to relax, especially your shoulders, right? Allow them to relax. Relax your face, your expression. You don't need to be anything right now. Just whatever you are right now, whenever you are, it's totally fine, okay? All right, let's start with the breath. It's just the first sign of being alive. Okay. Let's take a deep breath in. Let's hold it for a little bit. Feel this aliveness inside us. And then breathe out with your mouth, through your mouth. And let's repeat this a couple of times, okay? Remember to relax your shoulders, your face, everything. Breathe in through your nose. Hold it, relax, and breathe out through your mouth. One more, breathe in. And one more, because we feel like, okay? Breathe in. Hold it, and breathe out. Okay, return to your natural breath. And just be open. Be open. And prepare yourself to listen, to take what you need, okay? What you don't need, well, that's okay. You don't need it. Just save it for another time. But what you need right now, prepare yourself to listen and take it with you. Let's take one last deep breath. Hold it and release it. Okay, so whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes, right? We're not in a hurry. And hopefully right now you feel a different energy. I do feel a different energy right now. I feel very focused. I feel very calm. Okay, so hopefully that's what you feel right now. I always like to start my sessions with a little bit of meditation or mindfulness so we can actually be here. Okay, so welcome. All right, I'm going to start sharing with you the 5 steps that I consider that are very important for you to follow if you are starting your healing journey. Before we get into the 5 steps, I'm going to give you a prep step. Okay, if you are ready, if you have your notebook handy. So the first step that I want to share with you today, well, the first step, not the prep step that I want to share with you today is to make time for healing. All right? You may want to take notes of it. Prep step, to make time for healing. You know what we're doing here right now? We saved ourselves an hour of our time. And with this hour of our time, we are going to work on our healing, right? So I need you to do this more often. I need you to sit down and save some time for your healing. Because, first of all, healing is a work in progress. And then, if you don't make time for it, if you are just randomly trying one thing and then the other, it is going to be a little bit hard to achieve the results that you are looking for, whatever that is for you. I would say make some time for healing, sit down for an hour or so, and do the healing work. Listen, healing can come in many forms, but most of the things that we want to achieve in our lives, and I am a coach, so I have to tell you this, most of the times, if we want to achieve something, we will need some consistency. And with healing, it's the same. If you want to heal, you need time for it. And we're talking about, come on, it's healing, right? If you got to me, and people usually come to me because they have been through some sort of trauma. If you came to me, it's because you have something deep to deal with, right? So you are going to need time. You are going to need time to deal with it. And the best thing you can do is to think about, when is it that I have time? And look at your schedule, look at what is going on in your life, and then, and then dedicate those 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever it may be, to your healing. Okay, I really want you to do this for yourself, because if you don't take time, well, then I really need you to have this structure. Okay, if we are going to do this, we kind of no. We really need to be mindful on how we do it and to really structure what we are doing, right? Because we're dealing with pain, we are dealing with emotions, right? You don't want to do this very deep meditation and then just move on and go to the, have lunch or something. Like, you have to have a structure in place for you to know when is it that you are, especially when you are dealing with these very deep emotions that come at the beginning of your journey. Because once you are in your journey and you already have done enough or already a lot of work, you can just do that like this, and you are already dealing with something different, that it's not your healing, right? But right now, while you're starting, I want you to prep, and I want you to have this weekly hour or something to dedicate to your healing. All right? So if you are here watching this masterclass, that probably means, I don't know, but it probably means that by this hour, at this day, you have free time. So maybe just book this hour for the next upcoming weeks to dedicate to your healing. So this is the first part, okay? Now, let's go to the 5 steps. I don't know why I'm so excited. But talking about healing just, it makes me happy. Okay, so the first step that I want you to take is, listen, this is an unnegotiable step, okay? And if you do this step only, it will be enough, maybe. Okay, so the first step that I want you to take is to choose a grounding practice. You probably weren't waiting about, to hear about grounding practices right now. But the thing is, if you are going on a healing journey, you have got to be protected. Imagine that you are boxing or something. You're like, okay, so tomorrow I'm going to go boxing. Would you go boxing without your gloves, without the appropriate clothes? No, you would get some things to defend yourself, right? If you're boxing, you need gloves. If it's healing, you need the grounding technique. Okay? The reason why I say this is that when you're healing, as I said, we are dealing with a lot of emotions, and you already know that because most of you, just thinking about the issues that you have to address, you are already feeling a lot of emotions. You are already thinking about everything that you need to sort out, right? So when you have a grounding technique, they help you. First of all, you have a grounding base to address these emotions, and you also have a grounding base to actually help you cope with these emotions. So, what is a grounding practice? For the ones who don't know, grounding practice, grounding technique. It is anything that helps you feel centered and grounded, okay, and balanced within yourself. Um, what I use to ground myself is meditation, journaling, and yoga. Of course, I'm human, so not every day I do all these three things, I hope, but I do meditate every day and I do it religiously. Meditation helps me go out and about, on my day, and it helps me not take life so seriously because I calm down in the morning and then life hits me and I'm like, well, we're fine. You know why? Because I meditated. And practices like yoga, meditation, journaling your feelings. I think that, for example, let's say that you don't want to do any of these. Okay, that's fine. If you allow yourself like 15 minutes of silence every day, just sit down with yourself for 15 minutes, that's totally fine. That is grounding. That allows you to get in tune with your spirit. If spirits it's what you believe in. I do believe that we are spirits inside this thingy, but if you're not if spirit is not a word for you, but to connect to your inner self, to the real you, because the real you is not the stressed you, is not the struggle you. This is not the real you. This is the you that you have created to cope with whatever happened to you. Okay? We'll get to that. We will get to that. But anywho, what I was saying is just choose a grounding practice, any grounding practice, to help you throughout your journey and use it religiously. Just choose one thing. If you want, since we're speaking right now, since we're alive right now, since you have your notebook right now, if you want, you know what you can do? You can get your notebook and you can write down what is it that you are going to commit to doing as a grounding technique. If you don't know it already, then consider writing some options and then you choose. Okay? It's your first assignment, okay, to choose a grounding technique. Some of us are not even ready to go deeper, but having a grounding technique will help you, and you have no idea how. For me, for example, I was living a crazy life, like seriously in denial of everything that ever happened to me, feeling like an alien. But I was lucky to bump into yoga. I was lucky to bump into yoga, and I started practicing yoga, and it led me to meditation. And these practices created the mind space for me to actually start my healing journey. So look at how powerful these things can be, these practices, you know? So yeah, so this is step number one, choose a grounding practice. Okay. All right, so we have a grounding practice and we are ready for everything. You know, we are actually ready for everything if we do it right, if we listen to ourselves. And this is another thing that I wanted to tell you. Throughout this journey, listen to yourself, you know. Don't wish that your healing would be like my healing or somebody else's healing, or don't think that you should be somewhere already. No, no, no. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And look at me, like you are looking at me, and some people are like, oh my God, you have been through sexual abuse, domestic violence. Like not long ago, last November, I lost my father for COVID, my biological father. Like I have been through so much, and people sometimes are like, "Oh my God, Erika, but look, wow, you are amazing, you are powerful." And yeah, like it took me a long time to be here, but really like a long time and deep inner work. So when you look at the final result of somebody, just take into consideration that it took us a long time, probably longer than it's going to take you. So don't be so hard on yourself, okay? Before you go into this next step. Now, step number two, it's a mix of things, but let me start by we have, in order to heal, we have to address whatever happened to us. Okay? This is very important. And let me tell you a story. So at 18 years old, I was free, right? Physically free from my abuser. All right. He was gone. I was free, and I was free to be me and to do whatever I wanted to do and finally have my life back. I never had a life. I don't know. I don't know what I was waiting to get back when I was 18, get back to. But so yeah, so I was free at 18. And what I've done was what I learned, right? People told me, the adults in my life told me that you, in order to survive, you have to pretend that your problems don't exist, that nothing happened to you, that you are fine. So when I was 18, I did the obvious thing. And I was like, okay, so let me move on with my life. Just like that. So we don't talk about the abuse that happened. We don't talk about all the violence that I suffered. We didn't talk about the anxiety that I used to feel and that I just carried along because it just doesn't disappear, right? So what I've done was just like I moved on with my life. And then when I got to my 20s, late 20s, I was like, no way, this is not working. This is not working. I did not address the past, and it did not work because it haunts you. And the more you run away from it, the more it haunts you. So what happened was that I was like, okay, I need to address what happened to me. And this is what I ask of you today. And I ask that you think about what is it that happened to you. It's part one. And then work on accepting the facts. By accepting, I am not telling you to say that it was okay. No, it's none of that. It's just you saying, this is what happened. Nothing else. Own it. Own your story. You know, we cannot heal something that we don't acknowledge. The problem does not disappear, you know. Time, sorry, just dropped something here. Time won't heal certain things. We need to process most of the things in life. So what I need you to do here is to actually think about what happened and practice acceptance. Okay, so I have a little exercise that I've done it with some customers. I've done it myself. Sometimes I change it up a little bit depending on the person that I have in front of me, yeah, and what I feel that you need. But the exercise, if you want to take notes of it, and please feel free to message me, email me if you need more details, okay? Because I know that 1 hour is not enough, but you are going to get enough information for you to start healing. That's the important thing. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at my notes so I don't miss a thing. All right, so I want you to write down all the events, all the important events that you recall from your life. Okay, good, bad, so it really doesn't matter. When I say all the events, all the important events that you can recall from your life, whatever comes to mind, even if you think like, oh, that's not important, just write it down. Okay, this is how we address what happened to you. And most of us, we are already adults, we are in our 30s, in our 40s, in our 50s. I received this message because, as I told you, I'm a blogger, I write a lot, and I have this article on Tiny Buddha about why we should tell our story, why is it important, and yeah. And so I received a lot of messages after that blog post. And I received a message from a person that, you know, did not sit down until they were 60 years old to really, you know, process and heal from the thing. So, I mean, there's a lot of healing to do, and this should be a part of it, you know, because that person was living with this weight until 60 because there wasn't a clearing, you know, before. And it's never too late to heal. But if you're here already, I don't care how old are you, but if you are here already and you are listening to these words, know that it's important to think about what happened, assimilate it, and accept it. I usually say there is no time machine, right, that can take us back, and our brain is a weird thing. Our brain likes to solve problems. And what happens when you don't process the trauma is that your brain is going to keep trying to solve it. And what happens when that happens in your brain is that you're going to bump into situations to help you solve the problem, to help you solve the past. Until you tell your brain that, you know what, we're done with it, your brain and soul and body, we're done with it, your brain is going to keep sending you to the same situations and patterns. So, first step of the exercise, if you are thinking about doing the exercise, is writing down all the events, all the important events that you can recall that happened to you in your life. Just write it down until today, really. Because, I mean, we're healing every day. Life is stressful enough, you know. And this is very important. When I'm talking about trauma, like, I'm not talking only about severe trauma, whatever that is. Because trauma is trauma. And maybe I have been through a lot of trauma, but I process it different than somebody that had been through little trauma. And it's not even little trauma. I hope that you understand what I mean. It's just quote unquote little, because you cannot quantify, right? You cannot say, oh, your trauma is bigger than mine. Like, you cannot compare. So if you are here and you're like, oh, I was not sexually abused, this is not for me, this is for you as well. Like, we all have been through trauma, and this can work with different things, okay? So, and trauma is trauma, come on. It's not about the thing that happened to you. It's more about what happened after, how you processed it, if you got the help, if it kept going. There's so many things. So yeah, we write down the things, and then when you take a look at these things that happened to you, I want you to think about, or even write down if you are ready for it, think about, the decisions that you have made after the event. Think about the new behaviors, the new patterns that you adopted. Think about it, because I've tried this exercise and I can pinpoint when certain things changed me completely. And when I decided, sometimes I share on social media these little images where I write down something like, they didn't help me. And then I write the decision. I'm never, ever going to ask for help again. Right? How many of you have made this decision? Just me raising my hand here. I'm sure you are raising your hand at home or at office. Yeah? So think about what happened and think about how it changed you. Okay? Because you were different before trauma. And you are still you, but I want you to use more of yourself, to be more of yourself, okay? That's why we're here. Yeah. Okay. This is going so fast. Time is flying. Are you enjoying it? Let me see if I have comments along somewhere. Okay. Hello. All right. Okay, so yeah, let's go to step number 3. A lot of people don't like this step. So this step is all about taking responsibility for your current actions. Okay, step number 3 is about taking responsibility for your actions. Listen, so as I told you, at 18, I was free to go and to do whatever I want. I traveled abroad. I decided that after struggling in Portugal, and having some problems, I decided to come here and to the Canary Islands, but it was the same, and my inner life was the same. And one day, I remember this day where I was walking and I was like thinking about my life and realizing that I have been ending up in the same situations over and over. And I came to a point where I couldn't blame anyone else anymore. Right? I couldn't blame my father, my abuser, my mom, anybody, because the only thing, like the common denominator of this situation was me. I even changed countries to run away from trauma. And I had to realize that right now, in the present moment, the one that was making the decisions, the one that was acting, it was me. It was me. And at first, it came as a shock. It was like, oh my God, I am the one creating all this chaos. At first, yes, it came as a shock. And it was hard for me to really assimilate that, it was me. Okay. I know this is a tough one, but I want you to understand one thing. When you are a victim of something, there is the act itself, yeah, where you are the victim and they do this to you. And it's so freaking wrong and unfair. But then, after you are free, or after you are out of the situation, you you get to choose, right? You get to choose if you are going to, when you gain this awareness that we're talking about today, you get to choose if you want to keep acting like the abused child, like the victim, or if you want to act like a new person, a new powerful you. If you want, because the thing is, you are making unconscious decisions, right? Something happened to you, it changed you somehow, it created some patterns. You have the power to keep going with those patterns, even though they hurt you. But you have got the power to change them. That's the thing. That's when where you take your power back. You get to make new decisions and you get to take responsibility for your actions. And please note that I said current actions. I want you to take responsibility for today. I don't care what you did yesterday. You didn't know better. Please forgive yourself. You didn't know better. But what you do today and tomorrow with this information, it's a different thing. So step number 3 is to actually take responsibility for your current actions and make new decisions. Let me take a look at my notes, see what oh yeah. So before we were looking at what happened to you and how that changed you, right? Now we are looking at what happened to you, how that changed you, and what are you going to do about it? Because it is in your power to do something about it, to do something that it benefits you, to do something that makes you feel powerful, that makes you feel unique, okay? You can do this. All right. So to take this step, you can make a simple exercise, okay? Just to recognize and write down the patterns and the behaviors that you have and that you would like to change. And then you can go from there and start changing those behaviors. I know you're probably thinking, yeah, you make it sound so easy. I make it sound simple. It's not easy. I know that. And all of the steps that I'm giving you here, you can do one thing 1 week and then process it for 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months. It really doesn't matter because it is your process. It is your healing journey. So please take your time. You know, you may think about what happened to you and need a month to process it. It can happen. And you may think about your actions and think about, oh my God, the amount of work that I have to do. And I also have to say that everything that I'm sharing with you is something that you can do by yourself. You can self-heal, right? It is possible. But it is also something that you can do with a coach, with a therapist, okay? Depending on what's going on, how do you want to do it, you know? I've healed myself in different ways, with different problems, you know. With my sexual abuse, I did a lot of self-healing. When my father passed away, I did therapy. And now I'm working on some other stuff, and I'm working with a coach, okay? Just to tell you that, come on, you don't need to do this by yourself. You can take some things and do it by yourself, or, you know, I'm also here. You already know that this is my work, but let's continue. Yes, the exercise, recognize and act on the patterns, the behaviors, the things that you want to change, okay? You are powerful. Stop telling the story that you are powerless. Yes, in one situation you were powerless. That happened, but you are not powerless now. You are powerful. And it is time for you to use this power to make new decisions, to take responsibility, and to embrace your new self. Okay. Yes, yes. Okay. This is so, I probably should open a little bit more social media because I'm getting messages from everywhere and this is so exciting. So, yes, yes, I just got a yes and I love it. Okay. Are you ready for step number 4? Okay. Step number 4 is learn to let go. Okay. Listen, we can do a course on letting go. Letting go is hard. Nobody really knows how to do it. We talk about it. We know it's difficult. We know how to let go. Some of us know how to let go, but we don't want to let go. Because letting go is more of an energetic thing, right? It's like a cord. It breaks. And you're like, I don't care about this anymore. So if you are on a healing journey, it is very important for you to learn how to let go. And I just told you that we talk about letting go, and most of the people don't know how to let go. And what I'm going to tell you is that we all need different things to let go. And we all let go in different ways. Okay, that was very abstract, wasn't it? But there are certain things you can do that can help you let go. If when you are doing the work, you kind of know what works for you and you try different things and then it happens. So the thing about letting go is more about understanding that you cannot change the past. And when you are letting go, you are assuming that you cannot change what happened. Let's say I have an unpleasant conversation with you. I cannot change the conversation. We said what we said. But then if I come home and I think about the conversation, what I should have said, right? I'm not letting go. When I'm like, okay, the conversation happened. I'm not happy about the conversation. Like, you have several options when you are working with, when we are doing this kind of work, right? You can either say, okay, I don't like this conversation. Here is what I want to do different from the next time, or here is what I'm going to do today because I'm uncomfortable with the situation, or you simply assume that there is nothing to be done and let go. You know what I mean? Because letting go is just accepting, you know what? It is said and done. I'm going to let this go. So how do you let go? You pick what resonates with you, okay? Some people let go with forgiveness, okay? I do believe in forgiveness. I did forgive my abuser. I did not force myself to forgive anyone. For me, it happened naturally, okay? I was meditating. Well, I say naturally, but that came after a lot of journaling, a lot of thinking about things, a lot of readings, a lot of meditations, a lot of practices, right? But for me, it came one day during a meditation. It happened to me that I visualized his life and the way he suffered and everything that happened to him as a child. And I forgave him. It happened, you know? And for me, it was liberating. But I once worked with a client that she didn't want to forgive. She wasn't interested, you know, because, you know, she didn't want to and she didn't feel like she needed. And she was able to move on without forgiveness. And she's totally fine. And she's rocking it, you know? So there is no right way. Okay, so forgiveness may be a way to let go, okay, to forgive somebody. Maybe it's not the only way. You can, for example, I love to do letting go ceremonies, and this is so simple. You can just write down, everything that you want to let go of and burn it. Let it burn. But just know that when you perform those ceremonies, when you write down what you want to let go, and then you can also, like, throughout the day, practice affirmations, I let go, and whatever you want to let go of. We are kind of running out of time. So if you need more tips on how to let go, if there is something that resonates with you and you want to know more, email me or send me a message, okay? I will send you something to help you out. So yeah, just perform the ceremony. What I wanted to tell you is this. It's not like this. You do the ceremony and everything. No, I thought it was like that. I performed some ceremonies before. I went to India to an ashram, and I thought it was automatic, right? That I write down, I let the river Ganga take this away, and I'm done. It doesn't work like that. It takes some time, okay? You are taking things out of your system. So it may take some time for it to happen, for you to let go. But I believe that you're doing the healing work and actually process and assimilate what happened and accepting what happened. Throughout the process, you kind of learn how to let go. And just make sure that you are, throughout your day, you are letting go of things. Sometimes I'm working, and sometimes, people say things or they do things and whatever. And I'm like, I breathe in and I breathe out. And my breathing out is the letting go. Give it a try. It's one of those simple things that you're like, this doesn't work. It works. Okay. Yeah, so I guess this is what I wanted to say about learning to let go. Okay, that was step number 4. And step number 5 is a step that will help you start your healing journey and also maintain your progress. Okay? And this is the whole concept of what I do, I guess, is to practice mindfulness, right? Because if you received my emails about this masterclass, it is about, mindful healing. And mindful healing is about knowing that healing happens in the present moment. The problem that people who have been through trauma, the problem that we have sometimes a lot, is that we go back to the past more often than not. And a lot of us are still living in the past. And through mindfulness, we are able to break this pattern of going to the past every time, to justify things, to look for answers, to victimize ourselves, to make us, you know what I mean, right? Because it is so exhausting to always go back to the past and remember ourselves of things, So when we practice mindfulness, we bring ourselves back to the present moment. And it is a habit. It is a practice because, of course, the past is very limiting, right? Because some things we don't do because, listen, just a very quick example. Just think about the last time you spoke up about something. If you had a bad experience, you probably won't speak up again, or you probably will speak up, but you are shaking, right? So you're basing your actions on past experiences, right? When we practice mindfulness, we kind of let those experiences go and we focus on what is happening now. And if you have been through trauma, you have things and reactions that are stored in your body, right? That they come from things from the past. And practicing mindfulness may be just telling yourself that you are here now and that you are safe and nobody's coming to hit you, I was just thinking about this, this time where I just realized that when people were talking and I couldn't hear a conversation, I became so stressed, And I was thinking about, where is this coming from? And it's coming from the past, right? Because, this anxiety trying to feel what everything is going on. I have to know everything that is going on to make sure that I'm safe. Right now, I don't need it anymore. I am safe. So to practice mindfulness helps you come to the present moment every time. How is it that you can practice mindfulness? You can, let me take a look at my notes. Okay, you can meditate, practice gratitude. I have a free gratitude journal on my webpage. Go to www.thepersonaldeveloper.com and you can get it for free. Okay, on my page, you have more about me and my services. If you go to my webpage, you will find, that will take you to my webpage and you will find the journal if you want to download it, okay? So gratitude takes you to the present moment, embracing and thinking of who you are in the present moment, And whenever you realize that you are, looking sideways, not really present in a conversation, bring yourself back in. Mindful eat, right? When you eat, do it mindfully. When you go for a walk, do it mindfully. Focus on the details. Focus on the trees, the leaves, how they move. Focus on the noises, okay? And every time you go back to the past to justify something, to look for answers, remember yourself that you are here now. Look for answers in the now. Okay, what can I do now? What can I do today? Because if you have been through trauma, you cannot base every decision on what you have been through. Because of what we have been through, we have a lot of lost cables and misinterpretations of things. So a good way to start dealing with it and healing it is to embrace mindfulness. Yeah, so, oh my God, yes, look for answers in the present moment. I had it here. This is amazing. This has been awesome. I'm so happy I get to share this knowledge with you. And this is amazing. So again, feel free to email me. Feel free to send me a text message if you need any more help. And if you need to just, more information of any of the things that I told you today. All right. Do you want me to sum it up for you? All right. Let me use my notes again. So, how to start healing today. Okay, so preparation. Make sure you make time for healing, okay? Get your calendar, see when is it that you can sit down and do it. Then step number 1, we are talking about choosing a grounding practice and following it religiously. Step number 2, think about, journal about what happened to you and practice acceptance and honesty. Step number 3, take responsibility for your current actions. Step number 4, learn to let go. And step number 5, practice mindfulness. Okay, listen, this was awesome. This was awesome. I'm pumped. All right, listen, I think I am going to leave this video up for 2 weeks or so you can share it with your loved ones, so you can share it with somebody that needs to listen to this. Okay, I'm gonna leave the video for a couple of weeks. Not sure what I'm gonna do after, if I'm gonna have this on replay or something, but I really appreciate you being here. This has been amazing. Thank you for your lovely messages. They are so motivating and they help me keep going. Before we leave, if you are on my page, there is a place where it says, are you ready to go deeper? Listen, I went crazy. Usually, I let people have a complimentary session with me because healing coaching, I can talk about it, but you need to feel it. You really need to feel it. And I like people to come to me and have a full session and to know how healing coaching works and actually to see if we can work together, right? So I usually offer one session. What I'm doing here is because you are here and because you are committed, I am offering 2 sessions. Okay? I can only offer the 2 sessions, complimentary sessions to the first 3 people. So click the book now button and book your first session. Okay? And let me know that you watched the masterclass, so I know that you applied to have this. Whoop, so I know that you applied to receive these 2 complimentary healing sessions. Listen, if you want to start healing, you got 5 steps and the other 10,000 tips that I gave you today. I know it's a lot of information, but as I said at the beginning, on our our short meditation, take what you can get and start from there. If you want to go deeper, come to me. Book the session, write me an email. I have several ways of helping you. So don't feel like you cannot reach out to me for something. Okay? If it is not the moment for us to work together, I may send you a nice book that helped me. I may send you an app that I use. I may send you an old live conversation I had with somebody. I speak to powerful women pretty much every week, and I had so many things and information online that this is also an option. Yeah, so I guess it is time to say goodbye. This is me being mindful of your time. We reached an hour. Okay, I'm going to let you go, sending you tons of love and light and healing. And really, thank you for allowing me to be your guide today. It's such a blessing, and you are the reason why I do what I do. Okay, take good care of yourself and keep in touch. Okay, I love messages and emails. I just love them. Okay, namaste, everyone. Oi. Mwah. Thank you.